Let's do a quick video update and let's look at a map, 27th of March. This is a map from a Russian publication, very good Russian publication, by the way, that's been following this conflict. So keep in mind, this is a Russian map, so it leans towards Russia. In my opinion, I would say it leans towards Russia, but I like this map. It's easy to follow. I think it gives a good picture as to where we are as of the 27th of March. Does it mean it's 100% accurate and this is exactly what's going on? No, it's just a map and it just gives a snapshot, an approximate snapshot as to where things possibly stand. So, this is not exactly how everything is going. It's a conflict, so it's very fluid and it's a very active situation. But once again, I like this map because I believe that it possibly points to where the next phase of operations will go. Keep in mind that the Russian Ministry of Defense said that the first phase of operations has been completed and they're moving towards the second phase of the operations. And that's why I want to put this map up on the screen for everybody and point to 4 possible areas where you're going to get the second phase of operations. And I'm going to circle those areas. And one of those areas, without a doubt, is going to be the Donbass in that cauldron. And the red lines, the areas which have the red lines going across them, those are war zones, because the key to this map is in Russian. But those red lines that you're seeing, those are war zone areas. That's where fighting is taking place. I believe they're the color red, in my opinion, because these are war zone areas, combat zones, where the Russians will ultimately take control of those areas, and they'll be shaded red eventually. Once again, not set in stone that that's what's going to happen. I don't know, but I would imagine that those red lines are indications that combat is taking place, but eventually those areas will be in the control of the Russian military. So when you look at the map, you see 4 areas. You see the Donbass, which is that big cauldron, the 60,000 Ukraine Azov guys. And you can see towards the west, you have the red lines. And those are going to be, that's going to be the area where that cauldron, if it isn't already snapped into place, will snap into place. And that encirclement will be definite. That's the big encirclement, the big play for Russian right now, for the Russian military right now. You'll also see 3 other areas which I think are important, and that's around Kharkiv, where there's the encirclement of Kharkiv up north, and then there is the possible encirclement of Odessa, which is southwest. And you have another wider encirclement in and around Kiev, to the south of Kiev, which is another possible cauldron that could take place. A big cauldron, a big wide cauldron towards the south of Kiev, center of Ukraine, and that kind of encircles Dnipro and the center of the country. And so, as you can see this map up here, if these red lines, these shaded red lines, if these turn red, if they're not already red, if they turn red, then I believe you get a really good picture as to what a possible endgame scenario could be. Once again, not much taking place in the west other than these missile strikes that take out ammo depots and fuel depots, resupply infrastructure, logistics infrastructure, mercenary training camps. Outside of those missile strikes that take out this type of infrastructure, you don't see any red lines or any areas shaded red. So the West has still not been touched for the most part, at least with ground troops or anything like that. But when you look at the red lines, then you can kind of see where an end game, a possible end game, may look like. So I wanted to put that map out there, and yeah, we can discuss it in the comment section down below. You can give me your thoughts as to how you see it. I know there's a lot of experts who'll probably provide a lot better information as to where this map is heading. And gosh, what are they building now in Greece? The noisiest city in the world is Athens, without question. I mean, my God, this city, it is so noisy. Oh boy, let's see. What else did I want to say about this map? I had something else that I wanted to say about this map, but now with this construction noise, it broke my chain of thought. Let's see here. What did I want to say? What did I want to say? I don't know. I forgot. I completely forgot. Anyway, that's the map. That's the map. That's where the situation possibly stands after on the 27th of March, after say 30 days of conflict. That's where the situation may stand in Ukraine. And there's one more story that I would like to talk about, which is not so much connected to Ukraine. Kind of connected, but it has to do with the meeting in NATO that took place that took place between the EU and the US, Biden and Ursula von der Leyen. And I want to read out something that took place between these two leaders, if you can call Ursula von der Leyen a leader, or Joe Biden a leader for that matter. But what took place is that they also signed, while this conflict is going on, and you know what? I'm going to sit on those stairs so I can read this out to everybody. Stop the pushback. So I'm going to sit right here on this staircase so I can read this out. And let's see here. All right, super. So there was a meeting that took place between Biden and von der Leyen, the US and the EU, and basically what they decided on was to coordinate data transfers between EU citizens and US citizens. In other words, to take your private data that you put in social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, Google, and to make sure that data is transferred smoothly from the EU to the US. In other words, to beef up the surveillance between Europe and the United States, the EU and the United States. And let me just read you a quote from that meeting. And this was taken, I believe, from, I got this quote from the Associated Press or Reuters. I'll put it on the screen. And it basically says this: the US will put in place new safeguards to ensure signals surveillance activities are necessary and proportionate in the pursuit of defined national security objectives, the statement said. The dispute had raised the prospect that Facebook would have to revamp its data centers to ensure European data is kept out of the US. So there was some friction with regards to the data that that European Union citizens held in Europe, and how it was not being transferred to the US. And there was friction there. In other words, because of EU law and regulation, your data, if you were an EU citizen, your data in Europe that you would put in via Facebook or via Instagram or Google was kind of stuck in Europe, and it wasn't permitted to be shared to the data centers of Facebook in the US. There were certain regulations that were preventing the frictionless sharing of personal data and privacy. The new agreement will keep people connected and services running. Facebook head of global affairs Nick Clegg tweeted, "It will provide invaluable certainty for American and European companies of all sizes, including Meta, who rely on transferring data quickly and safely Google said it commended the work by the EU and the US to safeguard transatlantic data transfers. Transatlantic data transfers. You hear that? You hear that? So this guy has a car, and this is in every neighborhood in Greece. And these cars, they go around the neighborhood and they basically say, you know, we're here and we're driving around. And if you have any old electronic stuff or any washing machines or heating units or anything like that, we'll come and we'll pick it up. Like any old stuff that you want to throw away, any scrap, what is it called? Like scrap metals or scrap machines or any kinds of trash like that. These guys will come and they'll take it off your hands. They don't do it for free, by the way. They charge you. They'll charge you like 40 euros to take it off your hands. And he just drives around the city and he announces that. So, I mean, it happens all day. Like all day you hear these cars driving around the city saying, you know, we're here, we'll come and we'll pick up your old washing machine or your old heating units or something like that, your old air conditioners. Anyway, so basically what was going on, what they signed is an agreement to share data. Because of EU regulations, your data in the European Union had difficulty being shared to these big tech data centers. And Biden and van der Leyen signed an agreement, and they said, you know what, let's get rid of these hurdles and make it easier for EU citizens' private data to be shared with U.S. data centers. Essentially, the U.S. deep state, essentially the three-letter surveillance agencies in the United States. Let's make sure that the EU citizens' data can be easily, you know, sent to the United States so that it can be surveilled. And no one was really talking about this. This is a big deal because before this agreement, the European Union was pushing back on having private citizens' data shared to the U.S. data centers, and now that's been removed. That's been done away with. Of course, what's the reason they give? Russia, Ukraine, you know, making sure that the European Union and the U.S. are more in sync. Basically, the European Union has become a complete and absolute vassal of the United States, man. I mean, you can't be more of a vassal, more of a colony than what the European Union has become to the U.S. at this stage. I mean, just, you might as well, might as well plant an American flag on EU territory at this moment in time. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's sad in a way. It's sad because, you know, the European Union is surveillance enough. It's enough, Big Brother, having the European Union on top of you. Now you have the U.S. on top of the European Union. So, like, for example, in Greece, it's the Greek government. Okay, that's one government. Now you have the EU government on top of the Greek government. Okay, we've lived with that. Now we have the U.S. deep state on top of the EU, and it's layers upon layers of government and bureaucracy and surveillance and authoritarianism. I mean, this is just, my God. So anyway, that's the video, everybody. I wanted to get that news out to everyone because I kept on forgetting about this agreement, this data sharing surveillance agreement that took place between van der Leyen and Biden in Brussels during that NATO summit. While everyone is looking at Ukraine and the conflict in Ukraine and Russia and the sanctions and the economic war against Russia, this data sharing surveillance agreement wasn't talked about. It just they slid it in there. They slid it in there that citizens of the European Union will now have all of their data sent to the U.S. so it can be monitored by the three-letter agencies. And you know, when Nick Clegg of Facebook, when Nick Clegg comes out with a statement praising this legislation, praising this agreement, and when Google comes out and they praise this agreement, you know it's bad for us. You know it's really bad for EU citizens when Nick Clegg comes out and he praises such things. All right, so I think I'll leave this video there. This is a short video update. You got a good view of the map. Once again, everyone, the map that I put up is just a map. But I hope that we'll get a lot of good conversation in the comments as to how you see the map, and looking at the map, how you see the second stage of operations unfolding. So that'll be a good launch pad for what I imagine to be some good commentary on the situation in Ukraine, and of course the data sharing agreement between the EU and the US, which I believe solidifies the European Union's status as vassal to the Biden White House. Boy, how about that? Being vassals of Biden. Anyway, everybody, I'll leave it there. TheDuran.locals.com. Take care.